Let's get you up to date on Forge FC. This is Focus on Forge with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network.
Hey, Forge fans, Anthony Urciuoli with you, focusing on Forge. And this week, we are going to focus on the Big Six. 6 players playing up front for Forge who could start for any team in this league, whether it's Borges, Pacius, Chouanier, Campbell, Welshman, and now Hamilton. 6 guys that can lead an attack and that are all playing together and rotating to give Forge the best chance possible at not only scoring goals, but hanging on to the ball, creating offense by possession, which is also Forge's favorite way to defend. Speaking of defense, before we get to those guys, we're gonna hear from head coach Bobby Smirniotis talking about that Forge attack, and we're gonna hear from a couple of the players that are members of that Big Six, the Steel City Six. Well, one of those names will catch at some point, hopefully, for as long as those 6 can stay together in Hamilton. But before we get into that, Johnny Grant, right back, Forge FC, had some injury problems this year. After he's played in a couple of matches, but really has missed the majority of this season with an injury. He's back. He's training. He appears to be at full strength. Here's Johnny Grant talking about his road to recovery and what he can bring to Forge FC as he returns to the lineup.
It feels really good. It's been a grind for a while now, and I'm extremely happy to be back with their training 100%.
What was it like, just the emotion, not being able to play and having to watch your teammates?
It's something I'm obviously familiar to now. It's been a couple of those, but I trust the process, and I know I'll get back out there, and when I'm out there I can help the team out, and I'm here now. Of course, it's always difficult to watch, but it's a lot easier when the team's doing well, so it makes things easier for me mentally.
You've seen, I guess, the evolution of the fullbacks on this club with Rama, Kwesi spent some time there. What are your thoughts on just the depth at that position right now?
Yeah, no, it's really nice to have. I think you can see it in training today. It's a good competition within the team, and you always want that to help yourself improve. It's something that we've kind of lacked in the right back position. Normally I've had to bring like a midfielder out there when I'm injured or something, but now we have a strong right back, and it's going to help both of us get better.
Forge FC coming off a disappointing loss at Calvary. It was an intense match. It was a playoff type match that Calvary came out on top of 2-1 with a late goal after Forge scored the equalizer. So Johnny Grant watching his club, for the most part, pick up points consistently during his absence, but now he's ready to contribute, and he brings a little something different to that right back position. Rama's been an absolute beast playing right back for Forge FC since he's come, brings that technical game, that physical game, such a heady player and a guy that's just really tough to play against. Johnny Grant brings a different skill set, more athleticism, maybe more pace. If Forge is looking for a little bit, they like playing with tempo, and Rama can certainly, his work rate is second to none, but Grant brings a little more speed, a little more athleticism. That's more his game. So here is Bobby Smirniotis and his impressions of Johnny Grant's return to action.
Yeah, he's fully training now for the last, I think it's close to 10 days, 2 weeks. Everything is looking fine in his progress. It's been very good in a lot of the small-sided stuff and the larger games, and I think he's getting close to being back and ready for the lineup.
Where does he fit in with the fullbacks, which you've gotten fantastic play out of this season?
Yeah, I think for everybody, they fit in when their time comes. Right now the defensive unit is doing an excellent job across the board, not only in these last few games, but throughout the season. But the one thing that's important is every player will play a key role at some point when the time is called upon. And sometimes that may come upon because somebody gets injured, somebody is out for some reason, and now it's a matter of, as a player, are you ready to step up into that role? And I think that's the thing that a lot of these players need to do coming back into from injury, is just being prepared for their moments, and when their moments comes, they need to be able to grab them.
Yeah, it'll be good for Forge just in terms of options to get Canadian Johnny Grant back into the fold now that he appears ready to return. The Big Six, the Steel City Six, Go with whichever one you feel most comfortable with. Borges, Pasilla, Chouanier, Welshman, Campbell, Hamilton. You have 6 guys that could be starting attackers, for the most part, starting strikers on any club in this league, and they are all playing on the same team, meaning they have to share minutes and they have to share the ball. This group probably doesn't work anywhere else. But under Bobby Smirniotis, under Forge FC, under a culture of team first, and do you want to win or do you want to play every game and finish with 10 shots? Because we can do that if you want, but Forge is looking to win some games. And if they want to get to where they want to, which is not only winning a title this year, but playing more and more football next season in Champions League play, they're going to need 6 guys to contribute in different ways. We get into these, we've had some really, listen, I hate talking about weather and heat, and it's the most annoying thing someone can complain about, but I will say, Forge have played at some very hot games this year at Tim Hortons Field, with temperatures in the field going beyond 40, and it clearly showing some wear on the players. I mean, they're human beings. So because of that, to have 6 guys that you can rotate, that you can keep fresh, and this is not a league with a ton of depth when you look up and down the table. I mean, in terms of depth, we've seen it from Pacific, from even Calvary, from Valor. One injury can set you back weeks, it seems, where you don't have guys necessarily that can just fill in. There's roster restrictions, there's financial restrictions. Forge has found a way to make it work, where not only are they the players they're sending out as starters able to contribute, the guys coming off the bench, not even missing a beat. So what do you have with the 6? Borges, Chouanier, more traditional winger type players. Pacey, highly skilled, really good off the dribble. Not only can they create for their teammates, they can create for themselves, whether it's cutting in. They both love cutting in from that wing and having to go on goal, and it's worked many times for both throughout their careers, and with Forge and without Forge. So 2 guys that can push the play from the wings, work well with their fullbacks, they overlap, they make their runs, and they love cutting in. If they're not delivering the ball into the box, they can cut in themselves. Very prototypical type wingers. Pasillas, who I would say those 3, that's been kind of the primary combo that's probably played together the most. Pasillas he's a young player, traditional type target man at this stage in his career. Get the ball into his feet. All he needs is a little bit of space. And the way he can turn and shoot, he's shooting at almost 70%. So it's a guy that just get the ball to him and he can make plays himself. He'll find his own offense if he can. He just needs a little bit of room. And for Rubens, I think there are parts of his game he's still developing. His play off the ball, his runs. Some of that just comes with experience. And it's going to come. Pasillas, though, so dangerous when he does get the ball, that he has been kind of that prototypical target man for Forge FC as he rounds his game out, and a guy that's getting a lot of attention internationally as well for what he can do. Big guy, he's strong, and like I said, he can turn and shoot as well as anybody we've seen in this league. Emery Welshman, he's a striker, he's a forward, but he's also developed into more of a leader this season. He's not the most vocal player, but you see him during training, during matches, a lot of instruction. He's a smart player. He's intelligent. He's been around. He can make those runs off the ball. He's maybe more of a false 9 type striker. He can drop. He can drop, and he can create plays for his teammates. He can bring defenders with them. He's a very intelligent player that can also play cleanup inside the box. He's scored. You look at his highlight reel, and it's a lot of goals where he's in the right spot, he's finding the loose balls, and he's able to score. He doesn't make many mistakes when he does get the ball in close range. So a guy that's more intelligent, and a guy that just he knows his skill set, and he's able to give himself an opportunity to get himself a lot of high quality chances. And that's been Welshman's role, and he's developed that leadership side of things. Here's Welshman talking about that side of his game and what it's like playing with this group of forwards. That includes the guys I mentioned and also Campbell and Hamilton.
It's got to be one of the best in North America, I really say. Of course, it's a bit on the younger side to really say that, but having all of us be born and raised in Canada, that's a true testament to the Canadian talent pool that's coming up, especially offensively. We have strikers and wingers on and off on the field and on the bench that could start anywhere in this league at any time and would be immediate impact. So it's a blessing to have that for this Team Forge. Having said that, it's a lot of competition. You have to be fit and available, day in, day out to perform in training and to be available for selection. So we have to push each other every day.
Do you feel like your leadership skills have evolved this season?
I'd like to think so. I'm not much of a vocal leader, I want to say, but I like to lead by example. So I like to put everything out there on the field, whether it's training in a game, whatever it is, I like to put all my effort into it.
And the rival of Hamilton gives Forge FC a guy that, you talk about experience, a guy that's just all around dangerous when he's within shooting range. And not only that, but he wins a lot of duels in the air. He's able to get his head on a lot of ball. He's a big, strong guy. He's a power guy. He's able to shake coverage, and he's able to overpower a lot of defenders and grab his offense that way. Hamilton is a guy that is able to make his runs off the ball, finds his own space, and at times he needs that delivery. He just needs someone to find him, to get him the ball, and he can do the rest. Hamilton is that target man. Taron Campbell is an interesting guy in that, he's kind of, maybe it was just my impression, but when he comes over to Hamilton, when you see what he did with Pacific, he looked like more of a target guy. Get the ball to him and he can do a lot of damage. He's big, he's strong. He has that build of a guy that's able to take on a lot of defenders and win a lot of those one-on-one battles, and he just got to find them. But what we've seen from Campbell this year is he can do anything. He can be the playmaker. His work rate off the ball is second to none. Such a hard worker, kind of a quiet guy, but just puts his head down and never stops working. And Campbell creates. He creates space for his teammates. He gets the ball to his teammates. He's made some great passes this year with his teammates making runs, and he can make those runs himself and can score when he gets within range. Campbell's all-around game makes it so Bobby can use him in different positions. He doesn't just have to be a traditional striker. He can be out there as a winger. We've seen him play more of a false nine this role. You can line him up anywhere on the attacking side of the ball, and he can do his job and do exactly what's expected of him. And it's been really nice seeing him off the bench this season. Sometimes he'll come on with Welshman, sometimes he'll come on with Hamilton. And the way he wears down defenders, when he comes on late in a match and you are trying to defend against Forge FC and you're already gassed because Forge has had the ball for 55 to 60% of the match, and they're working the ball around, and you're trying to keep your shape, and you're just trying not to give anything easy, and then all of a sudden a fresh Taron Campbell comes on again with his size, with his power, and with the runs he can make, and he just never stops working. That is a lot for a defender to take on late in matches, and it's worked well. Campbell's been the super sub multiple times this season, and it's been interesting to see how he's been used and how Bobby's found ways to use all six guys. But what goes into the decision making and which guys to use, which guys to start, which guys to sub, at what time of the game, depending on what the score is, all of those things factor in to some of Bobby's decisions.
Most of it is situational. We look at the opponents, we look at the zones, we look at how we want to attack. Do we want to be a little bit more direct in the final third? Do we need guys who are coming in from wider situations? Do we need guys playing in the half spaces? So it all depends on what our opponent is giving us in certain areas of the field and which players we think do best in those parts of the pitch. There's situations in the game that arise from that. But then there's also certain players who are doing a great job in the moment, and you have them keep on going from game to game. So you look at a lot of different factors. It's not just one little thing that we look at. Having a week between games right now gives a lot of proper rest for the players without that big stimulus of midweek games. So we take a lot of different factors into seeing who's going to start.
Yeah, and Forge has been really fun to watch on the attack, and the players are enjoying. I mean, if you're an attacker on this club, I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to attack in ways that you're not necessarily permitted to do, maybe not permitted, but you don't necessarily have the quality up and down the lineup because it can never be a one-man show in this sport. And especially not in this league with the way clubs defend. You need a team effort to break down blocks. And if you are an attacker on this club, I mean, it's fun. You're always going to, if you're an attacker on this club, you are going to be allowed to showcase your skills, your speed, your possession, your movement, and your play off the ball. And for a guy like Tristan Borges, for example, who's been here from the start, he's looking at this group and seeing it as the most talented group he's probably played with.
I think throughout the season you see more and more chemistry, going on. Obviously there was already chemistry starting the season just from a lot of the players playing with each other for a couple of years already. But just in the beginning of the season, taking time to get back into the groove and stuff. And I think going a little bit on that run, and even last game, even though we didn't get the result that we wanted, I think attacking wise we have a lot of pieces, and I think everybody knows that. And just having the right mentality in the group is very, very important, and I think that's what we have. Everybody knows everybody has a shot, right? So just when it gets to your time, just to capitalize. And at the end of the day, I think all of us actually, is just about winning. So whatever helps the team win is the most important.
With these attackers' ability to spread the ball around, Pacius, 18 appearances, 10 goals. Campbell, 17 appearances, 6 goals. I mean, Campbell hasn't even hit the 1,000 mark yet, minute mark yet. So he's at 6 goals. Borges is at 5 goals through 16 matches. Schwanyeras, 3 through 16. Welshman has 2 through 11. I mean, Welshman is shooting at 75%. Hamilton's at 100%. He's at 1 attempt and 1 goal. So he's got 1 goal and 2 appearances, does Hamilton. That number is going to grow for him. So it's a dangerous squad. And just as a whole, I mean, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different players have scored goals for Forge FC this season. So it's the mentality of this club. If you want to be a part of this club and you want to do good things and you want to put up a lot of goals and you want to play in big matchups where you're going to be playing for titles, you're going to be playing in CONCACAF, not this season, but we're pretty sure Forge is going to see some CONCACAF action in the near future. I think so. So at the end of the day, it's the cost of playing on a really good team is you're going to get some less playing time, but you're going to find more success and you're going to be around more quality who are going to bring the best out of you. So the next opportunity for Forge FC comes at home this weekend, August 20th. It is the come on match of the week for One Soccer. Forge FC hosting York at 7 o'clock. Now make note of that time because the time has changed. It's been moved to later. So it's now an evening game, which will be nice for those of you who have been sitting in blistering heat at Tim Hortons Field now for what seems like a couple of months. So hopefully a little cooler. It will be a little cooler. That sun starts hiding behind the west side of the stadium at some point. So Forge FC home to York. Tickets available now. And as you know, it's never just any match at Tim Hortons Field. There's always a lot happening off the pitch as well. Inflatables, lawn games, mascots, and prizes are back in this match in the Stipley fan zone. So plenty for the whole family to do before and during the match and even after. Families on the pitch, of course. $5 beers before kickoff. So that will be when the gates open. So between 6 and 7, you'll get $5 beers. And this week, the special event will be post-match. Not only are families allowed on the pitch, there will also be autograph sessions and photographs with the players after the match. Hang around and some of your favorite Forge FC players will be around to sign autographs and take some photos with you. So plenty going on and off the court, and plenty happening right here with Forge FC as part of our digital content. Subscribe via podcast on YouTube and check us out on social media. Plenty more coming on. Behind the Beard is up this week, one-on-one with Bobby Smirniotis. You can watch that. Coming soon, match day preview, in-depth preview of York versus Forge FC coming up this week. And we'll also have your 3 keys to the match. Also, I mentioned Johnny Grant off the top. I have a one-on-one interview with him that is available now as well as he makes his way back into the Forge FC lineup. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Anthony Urciuoli and Focus on Forge. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts to the Forge Audio Network.